Hey there, today I'll be teaching you about regenerative medicine. We are all getting old, yes, even you. A good amount of the population is living in their 60s, while some of them are living in their 90s. As we grow up, our cells, tissues, and organs begin to deteriorate. This is because as we grow up, our cells accumulate a lot of damage which your body cannot fix and therefore results in organ failures and therefore death. With current technologies, we can only perform feats such as rejuvenation, replacement, and make use of artificial joints. But is that enough to really impact us? Regenerative medicine goes one step further as it promises the replacement of our dysfunctional body parts with our own living tissue. We have about 200 million cells in our body that each play a crucial role in performing bodily functions. We have a lot of cells in our body. We actually have 210 different types of cells in our body that are responsible for performing a lot of crucial tasks for bodily functions. We lose about 50 to 70 billion cells every day. And in fact, just as you're watching me, you just lost 300 million cells. This process is called apoptosis, which is basically a pre-programmed cell death. In this case, cells basically know when they're going to die, and this plays a huge role in keeping a balance between the cellular equilibrium. But necrosis is the death of cells due to serious injury where the cells cannot be repaired, and therefore can cause a huge issue as the death of one cell can cause an inflammatory response which can kill other cells and therefore cause some death. How do we compensate for those cells that die? Well, in this case, we can use regenerative example. Let's say you were in a fatal accident and you damaged your lung. And you have to be placed on a transplant list where you have to wait for a viable donor to donate you an organ. That can take a long time because the donor has to be viable and able to donate his organ to you. And in addition to that, the donor has to take anti-rejection meds. So once the organ comes to you, it doesn't get rejected. But that isn't healthy for your body, as those meds, well, it just makes the organ weaker. And there's a chance of you dying while using somebody else's organ. So how can we solve that? Well, there's a solution. With regenerative medicine, we can extract stem cells from your body, from either bone marrow, fat, blood. Stem cells come in very small amounts, but with exponential growth, they can grow exponentially. So we extract the stem cells and we build a scaffold, which is basically a blueprint of the material of the tissue you're trying to build. We then put the stem cells in a 3D printer where the stem cells act as ink. And then through a process called additive manufacturing, you layer the stem cells and print over the scaffold until you have this piece of tissue that is not really living yet. But then you can harvest this tissue or this product in this environment where you can basically grow the tissue, and then about 2 weeks you have living tissue that you just grew in a lab and has your own genes. And then you can transplant that into yourself and there, you're good. There are many applications of this because other animals or other species such as salamanders or lizards can grow their eyes, limbs, or even tails. But we humans can only regenerate our liver. But imagine when we could just regrow our limbs at will. Wouldn't that just be amazing? This process will definitely keep us healthier, as we're just replacing the bad, dead cells that have accumulated a lot of damage and cannot keep up with the daily processes, and replacing them with good new cells. And the cells we'll be using, which I did not mention before, is stem cells. Stem cells are basically cells that are unprogrammed. Because let's say you have blood cells or liver cells. Each of the cells have different bodily functions to perform throughout the day. Stem cells are unassigned, and they can just be assigned to any role, and that's the good thing about them. So yeah, we just utilize stem cells and they just make you young again, and therefore we're improving the health span of every individual, which will therefore improve the lifespan. But is that even ethical to do so? Just think about it. In a society where we're suffering from overpopulation and a scarcity of resources, and there's a lot of issues taking place like climate change, how can an overpopulation of people survive? So is this a good thing to do by keeping people alive? I don't know. Let me know in the comments.